In this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 things that stopped me taking action in my 20s. Hey guys, it's Rahim. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, smash the subscribe button because I talk about property investment, personal development, and how to gain financial freedom. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 things that stopped me taking action in my 20s so you will not do the same mistakes. Here's the thing, when I'm in my 20s, I always think there's so many years ahead of me, so therefore I've got so much time to do whatever I want to do in the future, only to realize really and truly time flies away in no time. So nobody was waiting for me. I had to take action to get my own finances into my own place, to get my finances in place in order to become financially free. So let's look at what was stopping me from taking action. The first thing that stopped me from taking action, I was deluded to tell myself I'm young, I'm 20 something years old, I've got so many years to live. So for now, in my 20s, I can do whatever I want to do. I can go out clubbing, hanging around, messing about. I've got lots of time to do so many stuff. So I was deluded in that, doing silly things, not even taking work seriously, not taking my finances in seriously. All I was thinking about, when is the next club, when is the next football match, whatever I can do to literally live life in a way that I feel like is the best way at that time. So I wasn't thinking about anything to do with investment. I wasn't thinking about anything to make money. I wasn't thinking about anything to get me to grow in a way that I can make passive recurring income. Especially when I finish uni, I'm thinking, well, I've got a degree, I'm an accountant, now I've got this steady income coming in, I'm working, doing all that stuff. I've never thought about, what's gonna happen in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now. I always think I've got a long way to go. So that stopped me from taking my finances into my own hands. You maybe think, how do you overcome that? How you overcome obstacles like that is by, one, surrounding yourself with people that will remind you that you're in your 20s. It doesn't mean you are young. There are so many ways you can start looking into finances that would enable you to become wealthy by the age 30. And always having the mindset of knowing or living like today will be your last day. Because if you're living in situations like that, it pushes you, it motivates you to actually know that literally 20 years old is still gives you opportunity to kind of grow, learn so many stuff at the same time whilst you expedite your finances. The second thing that stopped me in my 20s is envy. What do I mean by envy? Envy when I see someone driving a nice, amazing car or doing really well in social media, I kind of envy them and kind of jealous them. I don't really even think about anything. Look at that naughty guy doing that, complaining about what they're doing, basically bitch and moan about them all the time because I am envying them, and it becomes a way that I start thinking about what they're doing. They may be doing something dodgy, they may be selling drugs, doing so many stuff that makes them become that rich. So basically I'm thinking this is not thing. I just try to convince myself that, one, I'm young, secondly, just jealous in them for certain amount of period, and then obviously then forget about it. And the third thing that stopped me from taking action in my 20s, this is a big one. This really stopped me. This is one of the pivotal things that stopped me from taking action. Here's the thing, I had negative connotations towards money. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean basically, whenever I see someone rich, I think negative. I think they must have robbed someone, they must have looted someone, they must have done something dodgy or criminal to make that money. So I always attach this negative connotation to, because I was framed that way. I was told when I was young, it is easier for an elephant to go through a hole in a pin than it is for a wealthy person to go to heaven. So basically I was framed that way. I was told the love of money is the root of all evil. So basically I try to push away from it. I don't want to love money. I don't want to do that. I don't really want to be rich because obviously it would be harder for me to go to heaven. So all this sort of negative connotation tend to sprinkle around my mind, get me to start not thinking about money, not think about financial freedom, not think about making money work for me. Quite frankly, that really stopped me for a very long time. And I start to understand what they were saying. the love of money is the root of all evil, is if you love the money and you're not using it positively to impact people positively, to help people become financially free, to give back to charities, to give back to your community. It's like hugging it, doing something really, really silly about it. How they said if you become rich, you become really bad person. I used to hear all this, not knowing who you are amplifies you when you're rich. So obviously if you're a good person and a nice person, you would always be nice whether you're rich or you're not rich. But when you're rich, that then amplifies you being a nice person. So how was I able to eradicate that and change my mindset to thinking positively about money? It's about looking at the people and finding out what have they done to acquire the wealth they've acquired. So sometimes what I used to do, I stop them on their cars when they pull up. I ask them, oh bro, I like your car, what did you do? Or hey sis, I like this nice, amazing Porsche. What did you get to get it? What do you do for a living? So I start learning about what people are doing. Okay, I start learning about what people are doing. I realize these people are working really hard to achieve what they set themselves to achieve, or to achieve what they've got in front of them. So that's one of the things I started doing. And then the other thing I started doing was basically looking up on them on their social media platforms to find out what they do, right? What are the stuff that they do that enables them to make this sort of money? And I started reading books. What sort of books was I reading? I was reading personal development books and biographies, autobiographics about successful people, to learn how they become successful, what sort of strategies they've implemented to become successful, what sort of things they did to become who they are and to become prominent. And I start realizing literally there's a trend in there where all these people were people that were adding value. Instead of complaining, adding value. Instead of moaning about problems, they find problems that they can resolve that would add significant value to people's life, not their life, and they ultimately get rewarded handsomely, and then they were able to do all these amazing things people do in the world. The fourth thing that stopped me from taking action in my 20s is me being black and my accent. You see, before I start my property investment journey, I was always shy to speak in public. Especially when I was living in London, I was worried that people were thinking, whoa, he's not from this country, he wasn't born in this country. And I always worried about what people think about my accent, what people portray my accent, whether they would understand my accent, whether they would appreciate what I'm saying. And when I'm among my white friends, I feel intimidated because of my color, thinking I'm not good enough to be where I was at that point. That really stopped me, and then it becomes something that has been engraved in me. So when I start my investment journey, it's like I wasn't able to do it because I'm worried about what people think about me. I remember one time going to a viewing. I was about to view this property. I was nearly at this property, and then I had that massive fear, thinking this landlord will not understand me, this landlord will look me differently, and this landlord would not really even listen to me. He might swear at me, he might do so. I start thinking about all these negative things about myself. Guess what happened? I stopped when I was about 30 yards away from the property, and I returned back home because I worried that the landlord will not entertain me, he will not talk to me, he will look at me differently because of this. All that sort of thing was literally overwhelming myself. Literally, I went back home, went to my bed, lay down on my pillow, started crying and crying and crying. I was like, why me? Why am I worried about all these sort of things? But I learned something very, very good to allow me to eliminate that limiting belief in myself. I went to a program in London where I can't remember the name of this guy, but I went to see this guy. He had an event. It's all about mindset back then. He said few things that really resonate with me until today. The first thing he said, we are all born different. We are all born unique. The first thing that verifies that or confirms that is our thumbprint. Every individual, he said, in that event had a different thumbprint. I never knew that. He told me that. I was like, really? He said, yes. He said, that's the reason why you were born to be different. You're born to be you. You're born to be however you are right now. You're perfect as how you are. Okay? So that was a light bulb moment to me. I'm thinking I have to be like other people. I have to fit in. I have to speak the way they speak. I have to kind of act the way everybody acts in order to start to fit in. But when I hear that word, I was born to be different, I was born to be unique. That really helped me boost my confidence, okay? So the other problem I had was basically is to hear myself. I did not like to hear myself speak, right? I did not like to see myself in the mirror. So what he advised us in that event is to go and look ourselves in the mirror, literally say, I am proud to be me. I'm me. I'm not going to change me. I'm unique. I was born to be different. I am a superhuman. All these affirmations he asked us to start saying to ourselves. At the beginning it was crazy because it sounds stupid, okay? Standing in the mirror talking to yourself, I'm thinking that is crazy, right? But I start practicing it. I start doing it and I start saying these things. I'm born to be different. I love my accent. I am me. I literally all this. In the beginning, it sounds stupid because it wasn't true. But what my mind learned to do is to adapt to what I was saying and believe in what I was saying, and then that then boost my confidence. When I boost my confidence, I wasn't fear of anybody else. But what really make it very, very good is learning to listen to what I say, learning to hear myself speak. So how do I do that? I used to record stuff on my phone, literally record whatever I'm reading, whatever I do, I just record my voice. So I learned to used to listening to how I sound because I hated it. I did not like the way I sound. I'm thinking this sounds horrible. Who would listen to a guy like this? Literally, I repeat that thing, hearing myself speak multiple times, plus the confidence I got from that person, then the world becomes an oyster to me. Conversation becomes easy for me. Communication will become easy for me. I do not worry about what people think I say. I do not worry what people think about my accent. I do not worry about how people think I look. So for me then, I went colorblind. I went accent blind. I went literally crazy in my confidence. It was unbelievable, right? Literally, it transformed me. Literally, I was doing so many stuff. I'm thinking, wow, this is literally crazy. I would have never thought about doing that. That guy, that little one word I took from his event transformed my life. Being made to be different, being made to be you, and you meant to sound different. That transformed me. That took me into the next level. It really enhances the way I see, think, and say things. Number 5, money. You see, I'm going to talk about money again because money is the thing that also stopped me. So what part of money am I talking about here? The part of money I'm talking about here is 2 things. The first thing is basically, when I look at an investment, back at the days, look at a property, and I look at the property, look at the figures, and then I get told you're making £200 a month. I'm thinking £200 a month? How do I get rich with £200 a month? So for me, it wasn't making any logical financial sense. Why would I waste my time looking for properties from landlords, renting them out only to make £300 to £500? It wasn't making sense. I'm thinking that's a tiny bit of money. So that's one of the things that stopped me as well, because I wasn't thinking long term and I wasn't thinking about accumulation. Okay, that's one of the things stopped me. And the second thing that also stopped me really from that part of that money thing is I don't want to know about my finances. It's just something that I do not care about. I don't want to know how much my direct debit were. I don't want to know how much my rent was. I don't want to know how much money is coming from my account. I don't want to know anything to do with money. I don't want to know because I get paranoid about it. I just pretend it's there and then spending and spending and spending and spending. Okay, so obviously that also stopped me from doing anything in my 20s because I don't want to talk about money. When someone starts talking about money, you see me moving away like this. I'm gone. I don't want to hear about money. Okay, when people start talking about how to generate money, I'm not part of that conversation. Okay, I'm not part of that conversation at all, not because I don't feel comfortable about talking about it. I don't feel comfortable about even conversing about it. Believe me or not, I'm an accountant as well back then. I'm an accountant, got my degree. I do figures whole day long at work. As soon as people start talking about entrepreneurship, how to make money, I'm walking away from it. Here's the thing I did to actually change that. I asked myself one question. Here's a question I asked myself. Where do I see myself in the next 5, 10 years? I picture that. Saying, whoa, working for people, changing jobs this day, the other month you're in another job. I realized that was a horrible situation to be in, right? I realized it was really toxic relationship to be in. Working for that company, because I'm already in that cycle. I was already struggling, hating the job I did. Literally, when I visualized that, I realized I don't want that for me, right? I want to be financially free, financially independent, so I can spend time with my loved ones. So then I asked myself then, what do I do to allow me to be able to spend time with my loved ones? You see? So when I asked myself that question, I start thinking about getting higher paying job. I realized, okay, if I did that, it was just gonna be more time. I said getting a degree. I realized if I got a degree, it's getting another high paying job that would take me more closer to the rat race. And I realized the further I educate myself, the further I progress in my career, the less time I have, okay? And I contrast that to starting my own business, to becoming an entrepreneur. I looked at it this way. I said, okay, if I start my business, I might not even able to have enough money to live normal life, but if I continue working, it will compound and accumulate, okay? And it will take time for me to get to where I'm going. But when I got there, I will get to have something we call momentum. And once I've got the momentum, then guess what? I progress like that, because then I dictate how much money I make in a month, in a year, in 5, 6, 7, or 10 years down the line. So I realized that would happen. So when I realized that, I then set myself in that sort of mindset, knowing that it's gonna be tough before I get to there. And I'm gonna hear some no's, because I get 1 yes. So I formed myself, I literally got ready for that. But what really then gets me to take that action is this. You remember what I've told you? £200, £500 per property was waste of time. I did this. I said, okay, how about if I got 2 properties? That is £1,000. How about if I got 3 properties? That's another £1,500. How about if I got 4 properties, talking about £2,000? And that then tells me I've already surpassed the income I'm making at work. Because at that time I was making about £1,800 a month, right? I looked at, okay, so if I've got 4 houses, actually that £500 I'm making may not be the same as my salary. But if I got another one, it may still not be the same as my salary, because £1,000. If I got the 3rd house, I'm still below my salary. And if I got the 4th house, then I'm over my salary by £300, because I was on £1,800 back then. I was like, okay, how about if I'm on my 5th house? £2,500. In my 6th house, £3,000. That has doubled, nearly doubled my salary. And then I say, you know what? I will do whatever it takes to get me to where I want to be, to becoming financially free. These are the things that stopped me from getting to where I was. When I had the chance to eliminate all these limiting beliefs, like thinking I'm still young, envying people, negative connotation to money, worrying about my accent and the way I look, and money, I was able to eliminate all this using these skills I've just shared with you. Then that literally speed up my finances, not just my finances, my confidence, my well-being, my physicality, everything around me start being really nice and amazing and challenging, which then gets me to thrive and use my superpower to take me a little bit closer to my financial freedom. I really hope this video has been helpful. If this video has been helpful, smash the like button below, subscribe to my channel for more amazing videos. I look forward to sharing the next one. God bless you.